styling.
So has that always been sort of? I always thought just the different levels of age were just for size, but that's not really true.
Nope. So when talking about assistive technology, specifically screen readers, they use the H key to navigate. So whereas you look at the page and you see the title of the page and you can visibly see it and understand it, a screen reader user probably can't. And so they use their H key to quickly navigate or to browse through a page to understand the primary topics that are in a page.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like chapters in a book.
Yeah, sure.
Right, so each page is a chapter, and each page needs its own chapter title or its H1 heading. And
then if there's a subtitle, then that would be
It would be H2, and if it's a subtitle, it's H3, and a subtitle, H4. So on and so forth.
So is one in logical order? Does that mean like in DOM order, like as it appears on the page? Or does it just mean like...
logically nested, right?
H1, H2,
nested.
So
H3.
H2's parent is an H1.
So 1 and 2 are both correct?
Yes.
Can we make 3 and 4 correct? The big 5?
No.
The color doesn't make any sense. And not styling it makes absolutely no sense.
Right, yeah, because you can style.
Do that.
Again, what we're really concerned about with the structure is that the semantical markup is correct for a screen reader user to understand and gain insight and can quickly navigate and quickly skip to different content on the page. So there's another... Sure.
Or maybe it's just an observation. Once again, looking at today's type of sites, very dynamic, especially when you have pages that allow the user to reorder things on the page by dragging and dropping. So when you adhere to something as strict as, for instance, the H2s are nested in H1s and so forth, then I guess you have to be extremely careful with to what degree the user can reorder elements on the page, because then that can throw out of order the structure.
Yeah, sure. So the question was if giving an end user the ability to drag and drop or to reorder or to restructure or otherwise modify and move the page around, you have to be very careful with where you place your headings, what those headings are assigned to. And the answer is yes, absolutely. Because now what you've just created, if you're not careful, is a situation where you may have broken the logical order, and so now the screen reader won't read off the headings properly. And so now the end user who's using the screen reader could get confused by that situation. And on a side note, drag and drop is an inaccessible paradigm as it is, right? How do you explain to an assistive technology that's trying to read information to someone where they are located on a page and how they're moving and shifting, right?
So you said the drag and drop is inaccessible?
Yep, it's an inaccessible paradigm.
Yeah.
So how do all these apps account for that? I mean, drag and drop, basically dragging things in the list up and down, even, for instance, on YouTube.
Or those functions are disabled
in
the screen reader.
Sure. So in a list, you can actually use it. You can configure it so that you can select it, and then you can choose to move it up one unit at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Or up or down one unit at a time, using the keyboard
swipes,
exactly or swipes, where it starts to get more interesting.
Okay, I get it. So they're not dragging and dropping; they're basically using the keyboard to drag something. But I understand what you're saying. Thanks.
Sure, not a problem. And so where drag and drop really comes into play is when you're talking about a hiring flow, right? Take a look at Amtrak Careers, take a look at any kind of jobs board. One of the first things they want you to do, once you create an account, of course, is upload your resume. And so how do you make that drag and drop? Oh, drag the file into the page. almost always they
Yeah.
provide an alternative, which is a button that says, click here to upload or select the file. You hit enter, and then it opens up your File Explorer or Finder if you're on a Mac, and you can go and find the file that way. Color. Which of the following is true? Select as many. See, so it's a little more explicit now. Select as many as you want.
Okay.
Color contrast can be lower on large text. Color
Yes.
should not be used to highlight important information. Color should not be the only way of highlighting important information.
Yes.
And color contrast is not important on large text.
3.
So
Oh, select as many as you want.
1 and 3.
I'm definitely on 3.
2 and 3 are definitely true, right? One, I would qualify to say it can be lower, but it still has to meet the minimum requirement.
What? One is true though, no? Or
The
isn't there
requirement
two?
is lower, but
2. Let's not forget we're also developing for users with no impairments, right?
Yep.
It's nice to put color
Yay.
on important information.
It's 1 and 3.
oh, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So from an accessibility
It's not the only way to
perspective,
Right.
identify-
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's number 3.
from a pure accessibility perspective, the answer is 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, 2.
2.
From a color should not be
Nice.
used to highlight important information.
But you can't throw the baby
From
out the bathwater. Yeah.
from a pure accessibility perspective.
Sure.
From a overall user experience perspective, the answer, and taking accessibility into consideration, the answer should be 1 and 3.
Oh.
Right? Color contrast can be lower on larger text. That's true. And yes, you're right. As long as you still meet that lowered requirement or that contrast ratio, you're okay. And then color should not be the only way of highlighting important information. Any
These
questions?
are tough ones.
Questions.
All right. Well, if there's no questions,
Want to take a break?
yeah, you guys want to take a
10 minutes?
10-minute break? 5-10 minute
good.
break?